Ladies and gentlemen, believers and unbelieving kuffar, I would like to point out once more that the only belief system on earth that glorifies death over life is the depraved cult of Muhammadan Islam. The followers of Muhammad are presently being indoctrinated from childhood to maturity to accept such a perverted and evil view of human existence. They accuse the Christians and Jews especially of their love of life instead of their love of death for the sake of their God. As we have conclusively demonstrated in over 265 videos, Muhammad's legacy to his followers is a life full of hate, war, deception, racism, anger, unhappiness, joylessness, misery and ignorance as mandated both by his Quran and his Sunnah. Please be aware that his followers are forbidden from enjoying most of the pleasures that make a normal human being content, if not actually happy. They are forbidden from gambling, drinking wine, dancing, playing musical instruments, reciting poetry, painting and or sculpting any human or animal representations, wearing silk, wearing gold, playing chess, having consensual sex, respecting any others among humanity, learning about other belief systems, having any non-Muhammadan Muslims as friends or protectors, having utter contempt for their female counterparts, and more. Is it then any wonder that most of Muhammad's male followers are sexually frustrated, angry, jealous, hate-mongering, and inordinately violent creatures? Who, after all, would want to live such a miserable and lackluster life, but creatures who are utterly dysfunctional human beings? Compare these miseries with Muhammad's promises about what his followers would gain in the afterlife if they die as martyrs while slaughtering innocent and unarmed, unbelieving kuffar. Rivers of wine, the same wine they are forbidden in life, rivers of milk, of honey, and of water. They will obviously also be rewarded with their eternally virginal female companions as well as male ones, depending on preference, of course. They will be dressed with the most luxurious clothing. They will recline on sumptuous cushions engulfed by the most beautiful surroundings, full of trees, flowers, and birds. They will also have all the food that their hearts desire, animal, vegetable, or fruit. They will also meet Allah as the ultimate treat. Dear listeners, it is totally irrelevant what we think about such absurdities and stupidities, because what matters is the fact that hundreds of millions of Muhammad's followers believe them, and millions of them, under the opportune conditions, would follow his dictates to their death. We are not here discussing logic or rationality, but sincere and unquestioning belief. Muhammad's Quran and Hadiths are full of verses that conclusively demonstrate these horrible facts. So-called believers and unbelieving kuffar, I would like you to ponder the following conclusion regarding the central core belief of Muhammadan Islam as revealed in the message of Muhammad's Quran. A core belief that is actually based on two abominable, irrational, and contradictory dogmas that not a single mind of any of the believing followers of Muhammad has been able to fathom so far. The first dogma is their belief that they have been created for one purpose only: to follow submissively, without questioning or thought, at all times and under any and all circumstances, every word and ordinance of Allah's dictates in Muhammad's Quran. That their whole existence is actually a test of their beliefs. Since it is supposed to be a test, then obviously it means there is a choice, that is to err or to obey. The second dogma is that all of humanity and everything in creation had been predestined by Allah, either to err and end up in his hell, or to obey and end up in his whorehouse version of paradise. But obviously, predestination excludes free will, and hence humanity under this concept has no choice. Herein lies a catch-22 situation that no Muhammadan can resolve without abandoning his or her cult belief system. Predestination negates the first dogma of the test, since, in fact, there is no test. I shall now recite to you two of the most revealing hadiths about the dogma of predestination. Sahih al-Bukhari hadith 6.473, narrated by Ali. Muhammad said, "There is none among you and no created soul, but has his place written for him either in paradise or in the hellfire, and also has his happy or miserable fate in the hereafter written for him." This hadith clearly states from Muhammad's own mouth the dogma of predestination. Al-Tirmidhi Hadith 96, narrated by Abdullah ibn Amr. Allah's Messenger went out and he had in his hand 2 books. He said, "Do you know what these 2 books are?" We said, "Allah's Messenger, we do not know, but only that you inform us." Thereupon he said, "This one which my right hand possesses is a book from the Lord of the worlds. It contains the names of the inmates of paradise, and the name of their forefathers and those of their tribes. It is most exhaustive, and nothing will be added to it, nor anything eliminated from it up to eternity." He then said, "This one in my left hand is a book from the Lord of the worlds. It contains the names of the denizens of hell, and the names of their forefathers and their tribes. It is also exhaustive to the end, and nothing will be added to it, nor anything will be eliminated from it." The companion said, "Allah's Messenger, if this is the case, then where lies the use of doing a deed if the affair is already decided?" Thereupon Muhammad skirted answering by saying, "Stick to the right course and remain as close to it as possible." Ladies and gentlemen, even his mostly illiterate, gullible, and unlearned followers were able to ask the most important and pertinent question regarding Muhammad's concept of predestination, for which they did not get a satisfactory answer. For 1400 years and even now, not one of his followers has arrived at this logical and fundamental question. The following verses are only a short sample of what fills Muhammad's Quran and Hadith regarding the preference for death over life by his followers. Al-Baqarah 2.86. These are the people who buy the life of this world at the price of the hereafter. Their penalty shall not be lightened, nor shall they be helped. Al-Nisa 4.74. Let those who fight in the cause of Allah, who sell the life of this world for the hereafter. To him who fighteth in the cause of Allah, whether he is slain or gets victory, soon shall we give him a reward of great value. Al-Tawbah 9.38. O ye who believe, what is the matter with you? Then when you are asked to go forth in the cause of Allah, you cling heavily to the earth. Do you prefer the life of this world to the hereafter? But little is the comfort of this life as compared with the hereafter. Unless you go forth, he will punish you with a grievous penalty and put others in your place. Please note that these verses were recited by Muhammad when many of his supporters refused to fight on his behalf. They refused to go to war. So Muhammad scared his gullible, illiterate, and superstitious followers with grievous and eternal penalties if they did not follow his dictates of going on jihad. Ibrahim 14.3. Those who love the life of this world more than the hereafter, who hinder men from the path of Allah and seek therein something crooked, they are astray by a long distance. Yusuf 12.57. But verily, the reward of the hereafter is the best for those who believe and are constant in righteousness. Al-Isra 17.21. See how we have bestowed more on some than on others. But verily, the hereafter is more in rank and gradation and more in excellence. What kind of compassionate and merciful God would rather sanction his believers to slaughter unbelievers, whom he had willfully and knowingly preordained to err, so that the mass-murdering believers are thus rewarded with his whorehouse version of paradise? Where is the justice, the compassion, or mercy of such a divinity? How is it possible for hundreds of millions of Muhammadan Muslims to believe in such a malevolent and satanic God, had they not been utterly brainwashed from birth to maturity into the depraved cult belief system of Muhammadan Islam?